I am having trouble focusing again today. Um, the images of the protests and the video of Mr. Floyd just keep playing on this endless loop in my mind. And like many, I feel tired and sad and angry. I am tired and sad and angry that Mr. Floyd was murdered and that yet another Black person has been killed by police for absolutely no reason. There was no reason for it. And I'm tired and sad and angry that racism and police brutality and violence against Black people is excused or justified, or some people even pretend that it doesn't even exist. And I'm tired and angry at a president who not once has acted like a leader to help calm the country, to address racism and inequity and inequality, or even work to unite us in any meaningful way. I'm tired and sad and angry that we're dealing with the same disregard for Black lives since the first enslaved Africans arrived in this country. And I ask myself, why has the belief that Black lives are worthless stuck for 400 years? Because this country as a whole has never taught the worth of Black lives. Not that human beings' worth should ever need to be taught. That's a whole different story. But it has never taught the contributions that Black people have made to this country. During slavery, there were countless inventions that were made by both enslaved and free Blacks, like Elijah McCoy, who was born in 1844, and who invented the lawn sprinkler and the ironing table and obtained 57 patents in his lifetime, and who supposedly the phrase "the real McCoy" is derived. How many of us can even name one? And during slavery and later convict leasing, Black people's forced free labor built the infrastructure of this country, from buildings like the White House to roads and railroads and more. Nearly all railroad construction in the South, nearly 9,000 miles, was done by slaves. Were you taught that? And even after the Civil War, there were countless Black lawyers and educators and scientists and doctors and inventors and mathematicians and business owners and more, just like there are today. And again, how many of us can name even one? And there were many, hundreds of thriving all Black towns. Oklahoma alone had more than 50, and thriving Black neighborhoods. I could go on. But the bottom line is we need to address racism. We need to change the perception that some people have that in some way Black people are somehow inferior. We need historical reparations. And by that, we need to tell the truth about slavery, the Reconstruction era, and the lasting impact of slavery today. People need to know the contributions Black people have made and continue to make in this country. And I don't mean on Black History Month. It needs to be integrated in our educational system and in our history books and in all subjects and woven throughout the content, not the occasional person mentioned in kind of like as an afterthought. It needs to be prominent in our museums, again, woven into the existing exhibits and not tucked away in a corner or solely in a separate museum. Black people are not a separate part of history. We are an integral part of history. We are an important and integral part of history and of society. And our lives matter.